All right, so as Yanni mentioned, we'll have an open source stage as a part of our new initiative. This is not a part of the official program, so if you still want to grab a coffee or food, you can still continue with the lunch. We also live stream the screen and the sound in the foyer to make it more convenient. So the GitNation open source stage, I just wanted to tell a few words about it before. So GitNation is the company name we organize ourselves under as the organizer of React Day Berlin. We also organize React Amsterdam conferences and also JS Nation in Amsterdam. Next to that, we run around 5 meetups in Amsterdam, in Berlin, in London. So that's how we usually kick off some events, always starting from the community as with free meetups. In Berlin, we have React Open Source. Yesterday, we had a pre-event. We are running around 6-7 meetups in Berlin a year, which is also quite cool. And for a change, as we also been getting some feedback that 1.5 hour break is too long for some people, where for other ones it's a bit too short. So we decided to fill it with like a new format. It's the first time we try it on the conference. And since most of the things we're talking about at the stage and all the speakers are talking about on stage are about either open code, either open practices, either just about knowledge sharing, which is all related to open source culture. And we thought, like, why not next to lightning talks, make basically almost a completely open stage with some pre-moderation so we can at least filter out that those are specifically open source projects. And the idea was to just, a week before the conference, call out for attendees and just say, if you're visiting conference and you do any open source, just message us, and yeah, we'll just give you a chance to show it on the conference. It also be recorded, so you can have like a nice live demo of your application as well. So we're really looking to repeat that. I've been hoping to see around 100 people in the hall during the break, but it's quite a turnover. And we have 4 people today with presenting their open source projects, which is really nice. And the first one will be Alexei, presenting, talking about the presentation framework on React. So let's give him some hands until he prepares.
All right, so I just want to start with a story. A little while back ago, I was invited to speak at the conference, a JS conference, not this one. And I was like, I don't know, like, I was feeling so excited, like I was giving a speech, you know, in front of a lot of people. I was like super nervous, like now I can like present my project, like tell people what I'm working on. That's so cool. And I decided that I will just drive out of town and spend some time, you know, preparing for my talk and, you know, working, you know, making the presentation like just perfect. And like this white background here is intentionally because there's one fact that you have to know about me. I'm a huge procrastinator. So instead of just preparing for my talk, I spend the entire days, weeks just working on something else. And I did not have slides until the very end. So instead I was just working on the way to present in React. And that's how the project was born. So the project is called Presa, and this is basically a framework that allows you to create presentations in React. And it's also built with styled components, which I really like. And yeah, hopefully I will have a chance to present some of its features. So just a quick start, you just add it to your project with your favorite package manager. And basically, I wanted to make it really like verbose and component way of making presentation. Like presentation slide, you can also like write something, boom, done. And just a few features that I was able to build already is like backgrounds. So you can just enable like picture backgrounds, like color backgrounds. There's also one small thing I was working on is like a video backgrounds. Yeah, it's like a YouTube video. Hopefully it will load, but yeah, OK. We can just keep it. And in order to use video backgrounds, you just use this prop background, just use this component. So again, it's really declarative and sort of. Another thing I was working on is like building blocks. So think about it as a UI kit for presentations. That's what I really want to develop even further. So right now it's only like typography, code, but just I don't want to talk about features anymore. I just want to like give you a live demo of what I was able to build already. So so this is like the real talk, the real like presentation I built. Basically, what Preza gives you is that this neat interface where you have this, name of the talk. You can have a table of contents. You also have slides. They are like resizable. And what's fun about it is that because it's React, you can build all sorts of interactive stuff. So this is like was in my talk. Like you can play around with it. So this is like a real presentation that I built for the conference. Also, Preza right now supports Clicker. I don't have it with me right now, but it supports. It also has this, bird's eye view where you can just explore all the slides you have. And what's cool about it is because if it's built with React, the slides are not rendered until they're actually on the screen. Because in this particular presentation, I had a lot of interactive like graphics. I also had this like moving cube in WebGL, I think, somewhere here. Yes, this one. And basically, if you work with like other presentational frameworks, don't know about Spectacle actually, but I know that there was one which was working like this. So basically, every site is rendered all the time. So this is not acceptable, and that's what Preza allows you to do. Yeah, cool. Okay, so how can you be helpful? First of all, just start with the repo. And if you're really tough enough, you can, like the second thing that would be helpful for this project is just try and use Preza in your small talk and just share the feedback. That's really important for me, that it will allow me to know how people will use it and how to improve it. And finally, you can contribute. Just feel free to reach me out after the talk and talk about the contribution on GitHub. That's my credentials, my GitHub, and the link to the project. Thank you, guys, and really excited event here.
All right, thanks a lot, Alexei. Actually, I also started doing presentations from like kind of HTML-based slides, which is really convenient when you especially do some live demos and just want to embed everything into one place. So the second presenter will be Dmitry. He will share a demo or like explain some concepts about his project called React Faceless, which I found quite interesting. So I really hope you'll find it interesting as well. And who knows, maybe Dmitry, Alexei, and next presenters will get new contributors after this small, interesting experiment. So let's give some hands to Dmitry.
All right, one. So, hey everyone, my name is Dmitry, and I'm a design system developer at Booking.com. And I worked on building design systems for a couple of years now, and also I work on my own pet projects from time to time. And what I found out when I moved to React like 3 years ago is that eventually, when I build new projects, I keep copy-pasting some of the components from one project to another. And these components shared some behavior patterns, but they had different UI based on the design needs of those specific projects. And also, some time has passed, and I found out that I have several projects that have similar components, but the code has evolved in some of them, and some of them use specific third-party libraries, like Redux, for example, and the code is harder to maintain. As lately, I've been building more and more projects that are really small. I decided that maybe that's the right time to move all this logic that is reused to a separate NPM package. And that's where I created a concept called React Faceless. So basically, the main idea is to have all this logic separated in a separate NPM package. And while you can also provide your own UI that will be managed automatically. So you may ask, what's the benefit? Because we already have hundreds of packages that you can just drop in your project and solve your problems. And one-word answer for that would be the ecosystem. Because if we have an ecosystem of components, we can reuse some parts of them and share the code, and that will lead us to the reduced bundle size. And beside that, we can provide a similar API for all of the components. We can support specific features in all of them, like TypeScript typings or screen reader accessibility out of the box. But also, while there are lots of really small projects that just want an out-of-the-box solution, it will provide a default version of UI for you. So I decided to start small and release the first package that follows this idea and can create an initial state of the ecosystem. And basically, it handles the React notification system for React projects. And we also usually call it snack bars or toast, whatever everyone prefers. And I have a little demo of how it works. So basically, there's a code snippet, and there are methods that allows you to show new notifications. But at the same time, you can see one interesting feature of the package is the notifications queue. So at all points of time, you won't have more than one notification message, not to overwhelm the user. You can also, if you can also see from the snippet, I actually have two queues for notifications there, because we try to show just one on the screen, but as toasts are animated, there is a point in time where you have two of them rendered at the same time, because one is being dismissed and the new one appears. So besides that, it has some nice features, and it's worth mentioning that React is the only dependency there, so the final bundle size is like 5 kilobytes gzipped. And for global state management, I go directly to React context, so there is no library like Redux or Mobex, because I don't need it there. And that's basically it. You can see the project on GitHub if you follow these links. If you want to talk about the project or about design systems in general, just poke me on Twitter, find me around here in conference. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dmitry. So the next presenter will be Nick, who also been presenting today earlier at the East Track and giving a workshop before in Reason, and organizing Reason conference, and doing React Vienna, and lots of different things. And today, I don't know if I can tease your talk or you want to do it yourself, but it will be about Reason as well. It will be related to Reason, which you can guess as well. So give some hands to Nick Graf.
Hello. Yeah, can you see this? Great. Okay, so I want to kick off with a story that goes more than 3 years back. So this was like mid-2015. I created a UI library or design system. Now, back then we called it UI library. Now it's this term design system. But basically, I needed this for various. I needed good UI components that work in a lot of places, because we created a lot of different stuff. So there's like a text input, and you had a toggle. I completely over-engineered it, because you can do this. And you even could do, like, it was from the beginning designed in a way. Wow, I cannot. Where is it? You can. It was completely agnostic of like styles, so you could override all the styles. So back then, Bootstrap was still a big thing, and you could basically switch, and you have the same toggle, and it was completely different styles, because in different projects we had different UI styles that we had to apply to. So that was 2015, and back then, it was the state of the art of the decisions that basically everyone agreed on. But nowadays, all of these decisions are, like, a lot of them are out of date. So I eventually abandoned it, because no time and no focus. And it doesn't even work with React 16 anymore, because it used some React internals, the CSS inline style thing. So I stopped supporting it. But I actually want to do it again, so this is more of an idea. I already started out. I want to build a UI library or design system once again, but this time with a new mentality. I already started out. There's not much there. There's like, this is my UI playground. There's a button. This is disabled one, and I started to work on the checkbox. But I basically made the setup, and I I decided on a couple of things that I want to do. So these are the decisions that I want to mostly share. But if you want to contribute, like, happy to do so. If you want to learn Reason, so first thing, it's written in Reason. But because of a cool project called GenType, which is coming from Cristiano, who works at the Facebook infrastructure team, you can write React components in Reason, and you can export it to have TypeScript typings, flow typings, as well as untyped. So my goal is to write one UI library where you have components that work on mobile, work on desktop, because Spell did all of that, and I already have the experience. If everything was accessible, I followed all of the guidelines, except for 1 or 2, because they're impossible, because they collide with USX standards. Like the date picker, there are some gotchas there. I mean, this works well, but you cannot do some keyboard commands. Back to the main thing, the goal is to create one UI library, and you can use it with any type system that you of your choice, basically, because we can generate them just out of Reason React components. Yeah, and there's a couple of things planned. Regarding styles, this is probably a tricky choice, but what I want to do is, in the beginning, like last time I made basically everything possible. This time I think start out with style components or emotion, and then when we see the need or have a better understanding how to make it stylable in different ways, then we can fan out. And yeah, that's it. If you wanna like the idea, then join in. Thank you.
So thanks a lot, Nick. And the final closing presenter for the GitNation open source stage will be Antonio. Please welcome stage. And he will be speaking about a project which is not exactly code related, which is also nice to have in a list, because open source is not only about actually writing code and sharing that code. You can contribute in many different ways by even like answering questions on issues, or even doing the same things on Stack Overflow. And we also want to promote some other examples of how you can start contributing to like open community and people who are into this sharing culture. And we're almost ready there, but until we're there, let's just give some hands to Antonio.
Thank you. Oh my God. I swear I'm not as nervous as I look like right now. Hi, my name is Antonio. I'm a front-end developer from Munich. Actually, Berlin is my hometown. I lived here for 10 years, so this is like really cool to be here. And yeah, I'm often at conferences, and this May, I went to a conference, and when I go to conferences, I always sit at the front, so I can hear better, of course, but also to see the speaker stickers on their lids, right here with Mike Montero. And while driving home, I thought about, well, I like this aesthetic, this thrown together stuff, this street art thing, right? And I was sure there must be something that is kind of an archive or kind of a collection of this. Yeah. So this is in my favorite Munich disco, the Atomic Cafe that closed down a couple of years ago. This is the mirror. It's not a wall, it's a mirror. Right? So this is the aesthetic I'm talking about. So yeah, then I decided, no, but I didn't find a collection, but what I found was people posting on Twitter and on Instagram lots of their stickers. And sure, I mean, if you put a sticker on there, then you want people to see it, right? So I thought, yeah, let's do this. So on dev.to, I asked, where is it? So on dev.to, I asked for like a couple of submissions from people just to make a photo of their laptop and send it to me. So just so I don't have to steal images from the web and then just go live with it. Yeah. So I got 46 initial pieces like lids for me to play with. And then, where was I? Oh, sorry. Yeah, and in June or end of May, I went live with 46 lids, as I said, while I was still figuring out the layout of the whole thing. The very first one on the bottom right is my one. And the layout hasn't been changed much after that. The rest that I now have around 190 lids or something on there. And usually I just go to people on Twitter or Instagram and just ask them, hey, this is cool, can I put this on devlits? And nobody really said no. The worst reaction I got was, okay. But I still put it on, nobody complained, so it's fine. Because sure, as I said, people want to show it, right? And one of the most important days for devlits and for me with this project was the 20th of May, when I asked this guy for a photo of his lid. And I think it was, a couple of minutes later, and he said, boom, here you go. Right, you all seen this lid this morning. Boom, here's the other one. And here's the third one. And that was so cool that I put a small USA emoji on there. And this also gave me some motivation to continue working on it. And this is a React conference, right? So of course, there's also a React version. It has a bit more of a playful layout, but I use this mostly just to play with React router, a CSS grid like here, and but it's not the primary version. The primary version works without JS. It's a pretty lean site with just the lids. And the main idea is just for it to be a gallery where you can like click the lid, see the names of the people, and be able to visit their social media profiles or get the full REST version of it. And I built a little REST API for the React version for it. And now looking into the future, I want to extend the layout a bit so it's not like not just squares. I like this, but it's, yeah, I think there are still some possibilities what we can do with it. The next big thing is I like to add some metadata to the lids. So I already started experimenting with Google Cloud logo detection. And yeah, it seems a bit swamped when I add like a sticker-bombed laptop to when I send it out to Google. But I think WordPress and React gets detected pretty much. So I mean, it's 180 lids. I'm sure I can do it by hand, tagging. But it would be really nice to see which stickers are the most, which stickers are most there. I think React and, of course, React, and the GitHub Octocat are the stickers that are on there the most often. GitLab? Don't know if I've seen a GitLab sticker, but if you send me your lid, then I will add it, and then you have a GitLab sticker. That's cool. So now you're wondering, what do I have to do to get on this thing? It's pretty simple. Those are my two Twitter accounts, Devlits and Neorad. Neorad is my main Twitter account. Devlits is just for Devlits. You can send me a picture of your lid. I will Photoshop it. I will crop it and stuff. Don't worry about this. And put it on there. And when you're on there, I'll follow you with the Devlits account. Thank you very much for having me.